What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the MLO project. If you can't tell this one, we're already laughing because we're of today's topic. What we well, before I get into that, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. McAllister. Michael, what's up, buddy?
What's up, dude? Are you excited? Excited to talk shit on some realtors?
Well, I don't think that's what we're doing, but
That's not what you're doing. But.
Well, it's not what I'm doing, but it's what Michael's doing. But guys, what we wanted to do for this episode is we wanted to take you through, because you guys see some of this, like, and believe me, before I really understood what was happening, I was like, man, some of this stuff is like crazy, right? Like, and what we're talking about here is those real estate, like, mastermind groups and whatnot, and some of these posts in there. And then as I was going through it, and some other people were like, yeah, they're because I see some of the people I'm connected to on Facebook post or whatever. And then what these posts are, and there's some of them are just so freaking ridiculous. But this is what's funny about it. Some of them are so off the wall ridiculous. And what they are is to create engagement, create a lot of comments. And then within there, people like try to sell their lead gen services and comment and stuff like that. So that's kind of what these groups, a lot of bots, like just posting like nonsense and stuff like that, right? But sprinkled amongst those are also some pretty ones where you would be like, oh, that's just for whatever. And no, that's like an actual post. And so we were going through some of these to think of like, all right, how do we want to approach this episode going through it? Because ultimately what we want to talk about is like, guys, when you see these posts, right, like, don't think that you have to go in and comment and whatever, because ultimately they're not looking for, they're not looking for like actual, like, real, help, right? Like, so, and now what's unfortunate is some of these posts are people that are actually looking for stuff, but some of them, right, like, I'll tell you, like, if I say this about lab coats too, right? Even though Tristan, the dude, is solid. Same with Nick Baldwin. Those are two guys that founded lab coats. They know their stuff. They're professional. No, they're solid dudes. Great content. I listen to their podcast and everything else. But when you have the largest Facebook group on Facebook, like, moderation and stuff is hard, right? Like, you're just not going to do it. But like, I'll tell you, right? Like, if I can, like, anyone that's like anti, or like any consumer that like if they were in this group, they would be like, oh, that lawsuit was absolutely like warranted, right? Like the NAR lawsuit, as far as like value and stuff like that, absolutely warranted with some of these posts and the comments and stuff like that. the one that I want to start with that was sweeping the nation, and what sucks, and I think you can't. So like they turned off commenting on it after it's got 120 comments, a ton of share, which is funny. Like, why? It's in a Facebook group. You can't share off the Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, you can't share. It's private. It's a private Facebook group. You can't freaking share anything. So like, what are they sharing? Right? So like, but a lot of different reactions. But it was, Keller Williams has destroyed its culture by elevating Gary V's vulgar language in front of thousands of realtors. Are there better brokerages that provide leads? Right? So I thought it was like one of those bot ones, but now we can't tell whether this was real or not, right? So like, maybe it was a real one and someone really got offended. Well, and we don't need to worry about them being an audience of the MLO project, because they would have left after episode 1. But like, it's just like someone really got put off by that, or it was because of the leads. Because in the comments before they, and I won't go through them all, but they, some people were like, oh, this lead gen, this, that, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that was like the biggest one. The other one was, and again, don't know if this was real or not, but it's like, because I look for like, what's going to be a charged subject, right? So like, anytime anyone, and this has nothing to do with real estate, but like, anyone post anything about Trump, right? Like, there's no way that is going to end well as like, or as a constructive post. It's just impossible, right? So like, and the same when you get into like race and stuff. And so like, one of the posts on here was is it a red flag that my broker doesn't acknowledge Black History Month? And so I was reading that, and I was like, I wonder if that's a real one too. Now, and then I'm thinking, right, well, what do you mean by acknowledge? Meaning like, like
he says it doesn't exist. It
doesn't exist, or they don't like, like a social post, or like really what was, and there was no like clarification.
Like, no, we don't do that around here. Right?
Yeah, we don't do that around these parts. Like, we don't acknowledge it. So like, it was just kind of, so you see stuff like that too, right? And some of you don't know, but my wife is Black, right? So like, So like,
so it's okay to make.
So I'm okay to say no. But what I'm saying, so it's okay to say I'm okay to say whatever I want. No, I'm saying that because sometimes when I see these things, I ask my wife. I said, hey, as a black person, would this offend you or would this be a thing? Because I ask her opinion, right? Because I'm Native American, I'm not black, so like I'll render all the opinions on Native American stuff, right? Columbus Day, the Redskins, the Cleveland, sure, right? Like I'll give you my opinion on it, but like when it's another race, like I'll ask my wife, she's black, so I'm like, hey, would this be something that would offend you or would whatever? And then she said the same thing, like acknowledge, like I'm like. Doesn't exist. There's no such thing as Black History Month or whatever. But either way, there's no way a post like that isn't going to like create. And the comments went exactly how you thought they would go, right? And so like you see that there was what was the other one? You brought up another one that we were laughing about before. What was it?
There's a realtor posted my listing on their Instagram again without asking. This goes against NAR's code of ethics. How would you handle this situation with the pissed off cursing emoji? So upset about this.
I'm like, so someone marketed your property, like fuck, like isn't that what you want? Like for free?
Or
do they have a good following?
How do you market your seller's listings besides posting to the MLO?
Yeah, right. And that one I probably think is true, but that's my whole point, right? Like that is like, so because here's my argument. Let's say that is a true post, right? The MLS thing, right? Now, some of you are going to come running in and Captain Save an Agent and say, oh, well, what if they don't know yet? They're new or whatever. But either way, that agent is collecting 3%, right? Or 2.5% or whatever, right?
These are the people that you're fighting for business over.
Yeah, these are and so you're going to tell me like that's like you're okay with that question? No, you're not okay with that question. And so like, yeah, so like it's just funny, like some of these posts, and so the whole point of this is that I'm seeing this more and more. Like, because this was, I think, what is this, Real Estate Mastermind? But I see this more and more in my feed is these freaking posts. I'm starting to see it in like the, I almost want to bring it. Oh, this is another one. Guys, like be careful of the AI groups. Because it's almost like what it reminds me of, and I don't know about you, Mike, I want to get your opinion on this. It reminds me of like the crypto bros and NFT groups that popped up when when that was like, I know Bitcoin, that's, crypto's still around. So it's, so like,
but the pump and dump schemes and shit.
But like when like it was really at its heyday, when everyone's like, oh, if you're not on crypto, if you're not doing NFTs, this is the next, blockchain, yes, blockchain's still a thing. But like the point is at its heyday, right? You had those groups and a lot of the people in there were just saying shit and were like outlandish. I remember this guy's like, yeah, I just lost my house. I mortgaged it and to the bone and did another mortgage on it. And like, now I got to figure out how I could get money so I could go back in to buy the dip. And I'm like, wow, like this is fucking nuts. Buy the dip. And I'm like, dude, this is nuts. Like, are you kidding me? So like, but
I think we're going to see that more and more with these like bots, with the claw bot and shit, like, or open claw and stuff like that. It's never been easier to pretend it's an actual person.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that like people are like, well, Facebook doesn't allow, but I'm like, no, like you don't get it. Like they're on your computer, like they're just doing the normal tasks. Like there's no way to really, to combat that. But then I see, that, in the AI groups where someone's like, posting about hey, how do I get the same features of ChatGPT Pro in a free account? And you're like people are like, are you really tripping over $20 a month, right? Like you're this is like an AI for entrepreneur, like people that are trying to use AI. And it's like, why would are you like all these people are like trying to string these free tools together. Now, by the way, and this is like kind of like to my talk I did earlier, early today. I don't know when this is recorded, when this comes out, but I did a talk about like, hey guys, like all these people that are like creating, like you really just lower the barrier of entry to like software development to people that have no business creating anything in life ever, right? Like, like not a memo, right? Not a coffee, right? Not dinner, and sure as hell not an AI software, right? And so I see some of these people, and they're like, these are all people coming together to try to like build stuff to eventually sell or bring mainstream, which again, I think also has like a shelf life trying to do that too. But like, you got to be careful with these groups, because some of these people, and I don't know if they're bots or not, but I'm thinking like they're sparking to like, to sell something or whatever. So it's like, you got to be careful in these groups, whether they're our industry or AI or whatever, because the bots and like, I don't call them scams, but like the engagement, clickbait or whatever, is just off the charts. But some of them are just like ridiculous. I haven't seen any mortgage ones yet, and mortgage groups pop up. Usually it's the real estate stuff in there. But like,
I think loan officers are too smart to fall for this shit.
yeah. Yeah. But like, yeah, so like I was trying to find more. I'm looking through my feed trying to find more stuff, but like
there's a lot around lead gen, like people saying, because that's really what it is it's like like people or companies trying to sell their lead gen service, right? And so you'll see a lot around pay at close, like, oh, Zillow Flex just sent me a bill for $35,000 because the lead that I had 18 months ago sold their house and shit, like just stuff that's like so outlandish that you would want to be like, oh no, you should definitely take this to an attorney and blah, 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 and like get emotionally invested in it. And to Fraser's point, like it never actually fucking happened. Like it never was a thing. Like it literally just somebody, not even a real person behind it, likely just, posting to get engagements. And then if you engage and you look like somebody that would fall for a lead gen scam, then you're going to get your DM spammed over it.
Yeah. And now I see like they're like Jonathan Mast, who's a pretty big name in the AI side. They're doing a real estate group, right? And so so that's going to pop up. So a lot of these things, guys, you just have to be careful. You just have to be careful with where you're spending your time. And that's just in general, but you got to be careful getting sucked into some of this, because some of it is not real life, right? Some of it is just engagement, clickbait. Some of it is to sell you something. Some of it is just, to do that. So unfortunately, I think social media is about to get a lot, which is saying something, but it's starting to get a lot more crazy, than
it's going to get weird.
It's going to get weirder, right? It's already weird, but like, it's just going to get even crazier, and you're not going to know like whether it's a real person, fake person, whatnot. And so something's going to happen. So just make sure that like, cause we want to have like a lesson to this, not just a funny, like, let's just talk about like funny, like dumb posts in Facebook groups. But like the lesson is that, and this is the talk that I gave today, is that it's never been more important to be like a real human person and to be great at what you do, right? Because it's coming through the people that are lazy with their content, all the posts that you could tell are AI, and not because they have those are bad, like the emojis and M dashes, but you see the people that are trying to be thought leaders, and they're just doing the same frameworks of post and stuff like that. It's not their real, like, that's not how they talk when you talk to them, right? And guys, look, I'm not trying to say that I don't use AI. I use AI all the time for my stuff, but I use it to edit it because I make sure that it sounds like me. Now, sometimes there's like an email or something like that I just want to go out, but all of it's built off of my shit, right? Like the stuff, my cadence and my
Fraser
stuff, right?
Actually uses M dashes in normal conversation too. So
that was a real it's funny, right? Like, cause it's true. Like if you go back and look at like before chat and all that stuff was a thing, like articles and stuff like that, cause that's just like, cause I use Grammarly and I have for years. And Grammarly is all about making sure that you're writing professionally and correctly, right? So I'd always just like, because I don't know, right? Because like if you just leave it to my own devices, I'm going to be like, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to really probably do that, even though I ghostwrite and I'm a copywriter. But that's what I'm like in serious mode when I'm doing posts and all that other shit. Like that's just me throwing my thoughts out there or whatever. But I want to structure it so like it's easy to read and stuff like that. So I've been doing that stuff before, and I had some people like, oh, this is AI, and I'm like, no, actually, I wrote this one. Now this one was AI, right? But it's my stuff, right? But it's tough. And so the whole point of that is that like now's the time to be human. Now's the time, because that's going to be the pattern interrupt, which is crazy, is that now everyone's posts are generally going to look the same, right? Because they're doing the same stuff, the freaking emoji pointing down, deal. I always make fun of that. It was funny because we made fun of Luke one time, and Luke's like, he's like, you and Rob shame me from ever like doing that. He still does it, but it's like, you got the emoji point down, in the comments, that whole thing, and everyone hates that. But the problem is people engage with it, which is so again, it's just going to keep showing up. And so it's one of those things that, like, if you want to stop seeing a lot of shitty content on Facebook, then stop engaging with the shitty content on Facebook, the political posts, all of that stuff. And guys, don't get me wrong. Like, if I see someone that's just purely like in, political hating mode, whether it's a Trump or Democrat, whatever it is, like, unfollow, because there's no value to me. Right. And then people get all like, well, you got to stand up. You got to do this. I'm like, social media, no one's doing anything on social media for anything. Right. So, like, don't kid yourself on that. Great. Tell yourself the story all you want, but you're not changing anybody's mind. You're not doing any of that stuff. And ultimately, like, I'm on social media to, like, generate business and create real connections. I'm not there to, like, complain about taxes and all that other shit, right? Like, so let other people do it. So I unfollow a lot of people that I don't want to unfriend them because I like them, but at the end of the day, I don't want to see their crappy content, right? Like, I just don't want to see it. And so, I just see that happening more and more. So again, more important to be human and to be relevant and to, like, put out something that's going to be valuable, even if it's funny stuff. Like, just be you and don't try to be the sea of sameness with doing AI for everything.
And for God's sake, don't engage with the slop. That's what I heard. That's what I heard out of that, was a call to action, a rallying cry of, like, let's bury this trash, this AI generated trash in our newsfeed, where it belongs, like deep in the newsfeed, by not engaging with it, not giving it the time of day, especially when you see the post inside of Real Estate Mastermind where the girl is asking, what's the best way to generate business for my real estate business besides OnlyFans? Like, when you see that shit, it's not real. It's not real. Trust me. I went down the wormhole. I went down the rabbit hole. It's not real. So yeah, just don't engage with it. And post good shit and don't engage with the bad.
Yeah, and we'll wrap it up on this. Most, and not everybody, right? Like, we give Luke a hard time, but Luke actually knows this shit when it comes to AI. So if you guys are going to follow someone in mortgage, follow Luke when it comes to AI. Jonathan Mast also, right? He's not in our group or not in mortgage, but he knows his stuff. But what I will say is, guys, when you see, like, hey, here's the 7 prompts to do this or whatever, like, they're missing a lot of context, and everyone's looking though as, like, cheat codes are really helpful, right? Some of them are, don't get me wrong. Like, some of them are hard, but are helpful. But most of those prompt comment threads are going to be trash, and they're not going to help you. And so, like, don't get sucked into wasting time on these groups and in these comments with shit that, like, really isn't going to help your business. So you're just going to have to be a lot more choosy. But hey, if you want to kill an hour and you can't really do any business or calls or anything like that, check out Real Estate Mastermind if you want to have a good laugh with some of these posts. But again, just to wrap up, be human, be valuable, stay away from the slop, and a passionate plea by Mr. McAllister there, because all it's going to do is just replicate itself in your feed by other sloppy sources on Facebook. So with that, on behalf of Mr. McAllister, I am Frazier. This is the MLO Project, empowered by Empower LO, different coaching, and the Broker Toolkit. We are excited with what we got cooking, what's happening. And guys, we are just getting started. So on behalf of us, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.